Well, the sheer hypocrisy of China's gross and insulting fake image on Twitter this week is breathtaking. As I mentioned last night, you don't need to flick back into the history books more than a century to find a litany of modern-day massacres of their own innocent people. But the world watched in horror, of course, back in 1989, when in the dark of night, tanks rolled through Tiananmen Square to literally crush the bodies of student protesters.
After hours of shooting and facing a line of troops, the crowd is still here. They're shouting, "Stop the killing and down with the government."
And all they wanted was democracy. All they got was an agonising and unforgivable end. But the Chinese have been equally adept at wiping out large groups of foreign protesters as well. Now, a year before the Tiananmen massacre, not many people are up on this, but Chinese Navy personnel and a group of commandos filmed their own horrific actions on the Spratly Islands in the now contested South China Sea. The Johnson South Reef Skirmish was an altercation that took place on the 14th of March 1988 between Chinese and Vietnamese forces. Now, the Vietnamese held this territory, but that didn't matter to the Chinese. 60-plus brave Vietnamese men stood on that reef that day. As the high tide came in, they ignored Chinese calls to leave the reef, and when they refused, they were later executed, mowed down where they stood by heavy artillery. And how's this? The Chinese even refused to allow a Red Cross ship into the area to treat the few who survived or remove the 60 bodies that were left. This was 1988, our bicentenary, not that long ago. Let's not forget the ghastly imprisonment, of course, of the Uighur people in northwest China as well, bound, gagged and treated violently in detention camps as we speak. And I remember living in China, and an entire neighbourhood of Uighurs in northwest Beijing vanished in the space of 24 hours. Their homes, their shops, their belongings demolished by excavators. 24 hours they were gone. China, what classic hypocrites. What a regressive, cruel regime it still is. Now prepared to ruin the lives of workers in other countries like here in Australia because we don't toe their communist line. Well, some things, though, are just not negotiable.